Chapter 7. I found this kind of hard on the spot a little bit. It's a celebration story. Melanie on her wish list. I thought that God wanted me to stay single forever. Don't ask me why. When I read Dana's book, I loved it, but when it came to writing a wish list about the man of my dreams, I first refused. God, how can you ask me to dream about something that you might never give me? But finally, after fighting and crying a lot, I wrote a list and set it aside, not knowing if I was ever going to see my wish fulfilled. 2 years later, at 30 years old, I am getting married to a wonderful man who didn't quite seem at first sight to fit the list. But as I got to know him as a friend first, I've been able to see that he was just who I needed. Alright. So, secret number 2. Purity dreams of its future. Envisioning a godly husband. In 10 minutes, Chad, a very handsome college junior, would be picking me up already. He had treasured me that night as if I was a real princess. He took time to give me all the details of his careful plans. He found out that I really like Chinese food and is planning to take me to a very special Chinese restaurant. Before I knew it, we were discussing his volunteer work as a counselor at a crisis pregnancy center while we sipped green tea. All of the girls are a little shaken when they first come in, he said, but we test them to verify if they are in fact pregnant. Missing a menstrual cycle does not necessarily mean they are pregnant. I am always relieved when I can tell them it's a negative. Wow, I thought. Did he just say menstrual cycle? This guy is confident and sensitive. He's not afraid. I like that. As I ate my chicken and peanuts, he told me more about what he felt was his calling in the field of psychology. You are so sure of what you want to be, I said, amazed at his clear vision. I'm still struggling with whether or not I like my major. Give it time, Dana, he encouraged me. You've got almost 3 years to go. I'm nearly finished. I'm supposed to know by now. I'm so sorry. After dinner, that was him. Sorry, this is what he said. I'm just going to reread the whole sentence. Give it time, Dana, he encouraged me. You've got almost 3 years to go. I'm nearly finished. I'm supposed to know by now. Yeah. So after dinner, we went to a nearby college campus to watch a movie being shown on the campus lawn. We sat under the stars on a blanket relaxing together among hundreds of other college students. There wasn't any pressure to be near each other. He made me feel comfortable. I have something very special planned for dessert, he said, as he wrapped the blanket under his arm. He had a really neat way of making everything seem special. Well, no, he had a really neat way of making me feel special. He drove me to a bakery where he knew the ladies who were baking. I could tell that he came often and that they loved him. After carefully selecting our pastries, he took me to his apartment, where he introduced me to his roommates and then banished them to their rooms while he made homemade hot cocoa for us. We ended the night sipping the cocoa, which was accompanied by equally delicious conversation. The next day, he wrote me a thank you note for the wonderful evening. Though it was one of the greatest dates of my life, the next day I had come to a sure conclusion. I heard my mother's voice as if she were standing next to me. Dana, dating is not a game. It's about casually playing with it's not about casually playing with someone's heart. If you don't intend to marry him, don't date him. Know what you are looking for and only date the guy that fits that dream. The day she had told me that, I'd written what I called a shopping list for him, meaning future husband or whatever. My words on this rugged piece of rose-colored stationery drew a picture of the man of my dreams. Chad was a perfect fit spiritually, meeting my dream of a man with a deep commitment to God who deeply desired to serve with whatever career he chose. He was obviously physically fit and handsome. I remembered giggling with Mom when he wrote, "must have cute buns," on my shopping list. We'd left it on the list because it was a memory of our conversation and because physical fitness was important to me. But Chad fell short in the personality category. Oh, he had a great personality, but he was too much like me. I believed I needed someone who could make me laugh since I was always more prone to being productive and getting my work done. Chad was a productive guy and would one day have a successful career. I was certain of that. That was his one and only flaw. I politely turned down his offer for a second date the following Saturday. I spent the night in my dorm room with a cup of instant hot chocolate thinking how lucky the girl who married Chad would be. We live in a world of instant gratification. Want a snack? Pop the microwave oven. Want to write a note to a friend? Pop your email screen. Or, Facebook now, or text. Want a tan? Pop into a tanning bed. It has been said that one of the main reasons teens today are having sex is because they can't visualize the future. Can you visualize your future? When you close your eyes, do you see the man you will marry? If you aim for nothing, you'll hit it. Is that how you want to aim for your husband, with an open blank slate? Or do you want to dream of someone who is just right for you, who complements your weaknesses, and who fulfills your hopes and desires? That was my choice. And from the moment I wrote my shopping list for him, I never dated a guy for a second time unless he met the criteria on that list. Each one got one chance for me to measure him against the list. I liked it that way. It took away a lot of the guesswork as far as when to say yes and when to say no. And it didn't give me a chance to hurt him or him a chance to hurt me. What about you? Do you have a dream? Is he tall, dark, and handsome, or blonde, rugged, and woodsy? Does he have a lot of drive to be business-minded, or is he a 9-to-5er who can't wait to clock out to come home to be with you? It's time to build a vision of your husband to be, and a vision for how you will honor him on your dates, all of them, not just the ones with him. His list. Is your character what it ought to be? Are you letting your true personality shine through when you are around guys, or are you putting on a show? Be real here, guys. I know you put on shows. Have you taken the time to build some goals and vision for your future? Above all, would he know just by being around you that your faith is strong? How would you measure up if the man who was waiting for you were dreaming of you right now? He might be, Okay. So the list. Your dream. This is one of the really fun parts of this book. Grab a bowl of popcorn, your favorite drink, a pen, and your journal. You can even grab a friend to do this with you. It can be a lot of fun. Now close your eyes and dream. And in her words, that physique. What does he look like? Write it down. Does he work out? Does that matter at all or not? Does he have short or long hair? Is he unconcerned with his appearance? Is he natural and carefree? Do you see his attractiveness better through his heart than through his physical appearance? Have fun with this section. Don't hold anything back, but remember to take it lightly. Be willing to be flexible with what you think he should look like. Write it down. Dream, my friend, dream. Personality plus. What is his personality like? If you are not sure, look at your relationship with your girlfriends, or just friends in general. Which ones work best and have turned out to be long-lasting? Be careful here and get some advice from friends and family. I really let my mom help me here. She pointed out that my best friends were outgoing, humorous, energetic, even though I'm more quiet, reserved, and steady. Totally my case, a bit. Although I can be a little bit crazy, not even gonna lie. So my husband probably needed to be more crazy and humorous to balance my personality, and he certainly is. It is vital at this point to think through some character qualities that you would require, such as honest and committed and hardworking, and I think every girl should have that on their list. Though they may seem like givens, you will run into guys who don't have what you might expect everyone should have in their character department. I include character issues under personality plus because it seems to me that personality is often influenced or at least controlled by character or the lack thereof. One thing to consider when you start using your list is that the outer personality can sometimes hide the true character of a guy. On my shopping list for him, I wrote honest and full of integrity to the point that he even shares with me the bad things. I will love him more if I know what they are and where I stand. My husband's character is deep. He wants to be vulnerably honest. He is easily hurt when someone lies to him or when so-called friends desert him. He simply expects that everyone is honest and full of integrity. Sorry. I have a minute. This part of his character sometimes causes his usual frisky puppy-like personality to become quiet and pensive. I did not see that until many, many months into our relationship. He is proof that the most difficult category to measure may be personality plus. If you're looking for character, dream, my friend, dream. Right. You guys should really make a list of this. I'm going to go over this after I finish reading here. What does he dream of becoming? Of doing with his life? Is it compatible with your dreams for yourself? It would not work very well to fall in love with someone who wants to be a lumberjack and live on a mountain with 10 kids if you dream of a high-rise apartment and one child who plays in your office suite. Dream. His other love. I hope you will choose not to marry and not to even date someone who is not a Christian or who is not totally living for God. My list written in November of 1986 is faded and tattered, but I still treasure it and take it to retreats I do for girls so they can read every word under this category of his other love. My list says three things. 1. Being Christian is not enough. He must have insight. He must be growing and willing to try to grow. There's a lot of people who just call themselves Christians because that's what their parents are. Just be aware of that. So they don't really follow the rules and they don't care either. Spiritual leader. He has to be one who will lead me and others. He must lead in that he prays first and encourages devotions for us. He must lead others in that he is involved in service, Sunday school, ministering to friends, be an example, etc. 3. Similar viewpoints. And this is important. He must take stands like I do for what I do. He must have the same sort of background. I think I would like it if he was saved early like me. For me, it was given that he was going to be a Christian. Given that he was going to be a Christian. I wanted to define that a little more with more specific things. I often wrote of this in my journal. And you totally should too. Like, let's say his other love. Like, if you're really about helping people and serving others, you need somebody else who's into that too, who's very much almost like mission oriented or whatever. Like if they're, really passionate about ending human trafficking and stuff like that, because if you end up with another person who doesn't care as much, you might start to resent them and think they're selfish and all they do is take, and all you do is give, so it's better that you be with a giver. Let's see. Alright, this is a little journal entry of hers. I have no doubt the only reason for marriage is because two can serve God more effectively together than apart. A frightening standard, one I can see deceiving myself out of. Few find this relationship, few need it. I find that so interesting because I was all like, I don't want to get married. Like, everyone in my family, well, a good portion of my family members are divorced. And that's just tough. And I could do more for God if I'm single. Like, although you should use it because sometimes it does suck up your life and everything. But, and she said that, like, two can do more effectively. I was like, wow, like, I never, ever saw it like that. And I wonder sometimes if it's because a lot of relationships you'll see, like, them, let's say, I don't know, like, a lot of girls, like, they'll follow whatever the guy's in the missions and he's doing stuff for God and the girl's just there to be supportive. And I guess that's why I have that kind of mindset. And unfortunately, the only girls who actually do really do a lot tend to be those who are single and are, I don't know, at the moment or whatever. I don't know. But girls, God has a calling for you too. It's not to be behind the butt of some guy. It's, and he'll join you together with someone else. But it's not just to be supportive. You can be supportive of whoever, whatever. But that is not your only purpose on this earth. You have a calling yourself. Go find it. Okay. It was so important to me that my husband be a man who was really going for God. I hope that you want that too. It will save you a lot of heartache in years to come. Let me tell you why the standard of dating someone who says he is a Christian is not enough. I know a woman named Mary. Everywhere I went for years, I heard about her. Then I finally met her when she spoke at an event I attended. I could see right away why she was always brought up in conversation. She was blonde, beautiful, and oozed with a contagious enthusiasm. Her speaking style made me envious because she had the skill to make us laugh and cry as she wanted. She talked a lot about her marriage. In college, her husband was a handsome, popular student who had it bad for her. He told her he was a Christian, but she couldn't see a whole lot of fruit to back it up. Still, he intrigued and attracted her. Eventually, they got married. Today, he easily confesses that he told her he was a Christian to get her to date him, and mostly to get her to sleep with him. Their marriage is filled with pain as he rejects God, desires more to fulfill his own selfish wishes than to love and nurture her, and even suggested that they abort their fourth child because it was an inconvenience to him. Though she has a vibrant testimony and is a great encouragement to many, she wishes desperately she had listened to that little voice inside of her head, probably the Holy Spirit. I told her that he was just saying he was a Christian. Be safe. Set a high standard in this area. I know what some of you are not doing. I know that some of you are not doing so. According to National Survey of Religiously Active Girls, some of you have no problem dating someone of another religion. What does God say? 2 Corinthians 6:14 says, "Do not be yoked together with unbelievers." That makes it clear that it's not a good idea to date someone who does not know God and his son, since dating really is the first step toward marriage. You should not step in that direction with anyone unless he shares your faith. You run the risk of falling in love with someone you simply cannot have. Let me ask you something. Do you want to be intellectually and spiritually superior to the man you fall in love with, or do you want to be challenged and stimulated by him forever? That is entirely your choice. I am happy to say that eventually God did bring a man into my life who was everything I dreamed of in that list. It was really neat to write "your everything" across the list and present it to him one day. One day, you will probably find a special one that God has created just for you. Until then, pray for him. I read in the July 1999 issue of Focus on the Family about Dolores Cummins of Lindale, Texas, who prayed for her husband before she ever met him. She wrote, "The air was cold that December night. Church bells reminded us to pray for boys trapped in the Battle of the Bulge. I was 15, but I remember hearing a voice saying, 'Your future husband is in that battle. Pray.' A year later, I met my Robert. We started dating and later we married. To my amazement, he related his experience of lying face down in a beet field during that battle. The Germans bayoneted? I know I'm saying that wrong, but oh well. Nearly all of his fellow soldiers, but they simply stepped over him, sparing his life. I have no doubt that God had used her prayers to protect him. Take a moment right now to start the habit of praying for your future husband. Pray that God would protect him in the physical battles that he faces, but especially the spiritual battles, especially if he's like getting tempted by some girl. That's not true. Pray that God would protect his mind, his body, and his soul until the day that you find him. Go ahead. Take a moment right now to pray for him. If the story God writes with your love life is anything like mine, finding him or waiting for God to bring him to you will be hard, but not nearly as hard as what follows. It was after I found my husband to be that the rest of the secrets became so difficult to execute. But they are worth knowing, because not only did they keep me living a lifestyle of purity, but they also kept him really desiring to pursue me. Hold on, this